We'd be remiss if we did not ask about the new house.
Yeah.
And what the vibe is going to be. Is there going to be a YouTube series? Is there going to be a champagne wall? Is there going to be a wrapping room?
I'm going to give you the scoop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So here's the scoop.
Well. This is a long-awaited day on Pop Apologists because fresh from the French-driven snow is the one and only Heather Dubrow. Thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for coming in.
It's a dream come true. Also, I want to say that, you might actually recognize Lauren's voice. This is not, the first time you have been on a radio show together because Lauren was a dedicated listener and caller of Dr. and Mrs. Guinea Pig.
Seriously?
How many times did you call in, Lauren?
A few. I got some free consultations from Terry.
How did that go?
Honestly, okay, there's one procedure I got that I have not disclosed.
Oh.
And it's
Are you going to disclose it?
I'm not going to disclose what it is. Everyone knows that I got it, and I won't disclose. I'm transparent about not being transparent. And I called in, and Terry was like, this procedure is life-changing. You should 100% do it.
What did he say was life-changing?
And he just said for patients that have it, and I'll share it with you, and we'll edit it out, but for patients that get it done, he was like, it changes their life completely.
What was it?
I got my...
Oh, what? Why? Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why is it, and I feel the same way,
Yeah.
I'm just asking because
Yeah.
you guys are much younger than me. Why is it that we are so embarrassed by things that are so normal, and when there's a way to fix them or enhance them? It's funny because in my world, everyone's talking about, in my age, everyone talks about menopause, which was a very taboo, so I'm going to compare plastic surgery to that.
Okay.
So it was a taboo thing to talk about menopause, and now everyone does. Like, I didn't even want to say the word menopause because I thought, oh, then you're going to be so old. But then you get hotties like Halle Berry out there talking about it. All of a sudden, okay, we're allowed to talk about it.
Right.
I wonder what does that for us in plastic surgery.
I don't know. I think I had a weird mental hang-up that it was like not a normal area to need to work on.
Like boobs are okay.
Yeah, like-
but people won't talk about
Right.
because that's
Yeah,
embarrassing.
that's embarrassing. It's like there's like sexy upgrades, and then there's like you were wrong to begin with.
Yeah,
It's
Yes.
a fix it versus an upgrade it.
yeah.
Man, that sucks.
Which
I totally
sucks.
get it though.
Yeah.
But honestly, I also feel like I don't regret keeping a few things to myself because I share way too much. So
We
it's like
all
I get a
do.
few secrets,
Yeah.
It's my luxury.
And also on the flip side of it, I don't feel like you have to tell.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And I don't, what I really don't like, and I told Andy Cohen this recently, it's like, stop asking people if they're on Ozempic.
Right.
I mean, do you ask people if they're on like a heart medicine or
right.
diabetes drug or,
Right.
whatever? It's okay.
Yeah.
It's, let people do what they want to do.
Right.
And as long as they're being healthy about it and
Yeah.
have a good doctor, why does anyone care?
Right.
Well, my thing also is like, so some people naturally just like their bodies physiologically don't need extra GLP-1 or
Right.
whatever it is. And so why do the people whose bodies maybe do need a little bit of help, like we don't ask people, oh, you're happy today. Are you on some SSRIs? Like, why are we asking about all the augmentations possible? It's just no one's business.
How's the Wellbutrin treating you?
Exactly.
Totally. It's so funny.
Oh my
Anyway,
gosh.
so this is our first episode of 2025.
Oh, it's my birthday then.
Oh,
Yes.
perfect. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
And we feel like for 2025, everyone is thinking, like, how can I optimize? How can I be like the best version of myself right now when they're listening? Because, new year, new intentions. And who better to ask how to be the best versions of ourselves than Heather fucking Dubrow?
Okay, let's do it.
The
Okay.
blueprint.
The blueprint.
Okay.
Yes.
You know what? It's such a good question. And it's interesting because, Terry and I do this thing on New Year's Eve every year where we write down what happened last year and we read it to each other and we do a year in review.
Yeah.
Right? What do we do well? What do we need to work on? And then we write what we hope happens next year and we seal it. We used to write it physically and put
Yeah.
it in the safe and then take it out and read it to see what came true.
Yeah.
Now we write it on the phone. But what's really interesting about that is doing a year in review is so important, either as a couple or as just by yourself, about, your health and wellness, about your career, about your personal relationships, and really see like what happened. And I know for me, I am already doing that and thinking, okay, well, why did I not feel like myself during this? Like even on the show this last season that aired, I look at some of the episodes and I don't even sound like me.
Interesting.
And I don't know if it was because coming off the season before when everyone was coming after me, I wasn't sure of my relationships. I'm not really sure why that is. Or maybe it was other external things in my life that were just affecting me that way, but I didn't like it. And so that is something I've had to look at and move forward with.
Yeah.
I think, saying you want to better yourself is a great thing. No one's perfect.
Yeah.
And we have to release some of this perfection thing and this ultimate goal. And I think smaller wins need to be celebrated.
Yeah.
And also I will be fill in the blank, happy, whatever, when I get to this fill in the blank thing.
Right.
You can't do that because your life is happening right now. And I know that sounds so trite and whatever, but it's true.
It's true.
And if you're not enjoying your day to day, you're not enjoying your life. You're just in a holding pattern waiting. And what if it never happens, that one thing? And then what if you get that one thing and it wasn't the thing that's going to make you happy? So, look, I have anxiety. I've always had anxiety. It got worse 20s, 30s, better 40s, 50s.
Really?
And I think some of it has to do with getting older and the confidence, but there's little tricks, right? So when I get up in the morning and I'm feeling a kind of way and I think, oh, what do I have to do today? I go, no. What do I get to do today?
Yeah.
Thank you. At the end of a hot Pilates class, which I'm obsessed with now, I have such a moment of gratitude. It's for me and my family and my kids, it's all about the gratitude.
Yeah.
No, that's so important.
Did that answer your question?
No, definitely.
Yeah. I also love the idea of also like kind of looking back and making that list because I think you can miss a lot of small things that were like big wins when you're looking back and you're like, oh, maybe I didn't get the promotion or I didn't get X big thing. And then, your year might have actually had a lot of small victories and a lot of other things that you didn't maybe expect to go well that did. So I don't know. I love that exercise. I want to do that with my fiance.
We do it even with vacations. Terry can sometimes be a pessimist about about vacation. It'd be like, oh, because with kids, sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not, just like anything. And he'll say, oh, that was a disaster. I said, no, there were wins in there. This was like one year, a few years ago, we took them to Sedona.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yes.
No one wanted to go. And I was like, we're going. And it was spring break, and I don't even remember how old they were, but we go on this trip, and I planned a hot air balloon and this pink Jeep tour that goes through the Red Rocks and all these different things. All I remember about that trip, there were some, if I really took a dive in my brain, there were definitely some fails. This one acted up. These two didn't get along. But this Red Rock tour that we took was 2 hours. The guy that drove us was hilarious. And there were things he said, like, we're doing it. We still say to this day that have become family jokes.
Yeah.
And also on that trip, the twins took a little tiny rock from that hill.
Okay.
And I made everyone take this like kind of cool picture from behind sitting on the Red Rocks. No one wanted to take it.
Of course.
But we took the picture and whatever. But that one thing we did was so much fun.
Yeah.
They took one of these little rocks and for Mother's Day, they held it, kept it.
gosh.
And they wrote me the most beautiful note for Mother's Day and put the rock in, and that was my gift. It was the best thing ever. And as far as I'm concerned, Terry would probably say that was a terrible trip. It was a fantastic trip, and their core memory of that trip was that pink Jeep tour and that amazing guy that drove us and the crazy ups and downs of it and laughing.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's not a zero-sum game when you're, especially when you're traveling with kids.
I'm curious. I remember, so Heather, I know so much about you because I truly,
we both do.
I love it.
I listened to Heather Dubrow's World, Dr. Ms. Guinea Pig. And so anyway, I remember when the teenagers were more asshole-ish, they had those times, but it seems like those times have gone.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm so curious, like, how long did that last? How you kind of got through it, because now seeing them on the show with you, it's just so sweet how much they clearly are obsessed with you and like enjoy you. And so I'm just curious, like, if you maybe you can give some hope to moms listening who are dealing with that.
I think it's different for everyone. I think because people would scare me, oh, wait till your daughters are 16, they're gonna be awful. That's not when it is. It starts younger, and I think 11, 12-ish to 14, 15.
With girls?
With both.
All of them.
Oh, yeah. Boys get douchey, too. I don't care what anyone says. They all become assholes. And, there were times where we were like, no family dinner, no this, no that, not taking a trip. I probably forced the trip anyway. But, you have to just get through it.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. the good thing to know is there is light at the end of the tunnel, and when they come back, they get it, and they'll joke about it now. Yeah, I was a jerk. Yeah, I remember. It's really like that 6th, 7th, 8th, and maybe a part of 9th. Again, it varies child to child. But I'll take Max and Nikki for an example now. They just turned 21.
Yeah.
I was telling my sister what we were doing for their 21st birthday. She goes, they want to do that? And I was like, yeah. No, they're excited. It was the best weekend ever, and it was with us.
Yeah.
Was this Saint-Tropez?
No.
No, it was
we went to New
sleepover,
York.
right?
Yeah, so it was 3 days in New
Yeah.
York. So they both had friends with them. We were a group of 10, and we did like this insane carbone dinner, and then we did this fun thing at this restaurant, Maison Club, dancing on the table,
Yeah.
this crazy party, and then we did on their actual birthday this lunch in our hotel suite. The family joined, and it was like a 6-hour.
Incredible.
There was like vendors there and things to do and eating and drinking, and it was so much fun. But they wanted to be with us.
Yeah, totally.
Which is amazing. Because
Which
I
is
think
so cool.
There's so many kids, and especially when you're like in college or whatever, you don't want to spend time with your parents.
Right.
So it's a really, I don't know, once again, the blueprint, like that's what people want.
It's fun to see them come back from the douchey stage and really, have interesting, real conversations with them. But I think the most important lesson I can ever give a parent is, you have to listen to your kids because parents want to talk at you.
Yeah.
And give you all their stories and their words of wisdom. And well, when I was your age, and this is
Right.
how we did it. And I certainly fell into that trap a number of times, but learned quickly it doesn't work. And they just tune out. They just want to hear you. Now, you can give them those speeches at times.
Right.
But you have to know when, and you need to
Right.
listen first because they need to tell you everything, vent it out to you, and just have you be there and not be judgmental.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's 2025.
2025 is upon us.
We are all ready to get in shape, feel good,
And to use mom's words, hit the ground running.
hit the ground running on our self-improvement. And let's start with getting a little more protein in. How about that?
Sounds great. Let's do it.
The easiest way to consume more protein is through using Clean Simple Eats, either their gorgeous protein powders, which taste like a Wendy's Frosty when blended with just ice and water. It's impeccable.
And if you're not in the mood for a protein shake, their clear protein are delicious. I love it with a lot of ice. My favorite flavor is the orange.
I love the prickly pear. I'm such a huge fan of the clear protein. Courtney has cases always at the ready now at her house. She's a huge fan. You guys, you have to go to cleansimpleeats.com. Check out the clear protein. Check out their protein powders. Let's put on some muscle. Let's get stronger.
Let's get stronger together, 2025.
Hashtag stronger together, Chandler. Thank you for that. Everyone, go to cleansimpleeats.com. Use code POPAPOLOGIST for 10% off. That's cleansimpleeats.com. Code POPAPOLOGIST for 10% off. I feel like, okay, dovetailing on this like kids and experiences question, one of the questions one of our listeners wrote in, and I think that is very particular to you. How do you raise like good, motivated kids that can stay some level of grounded when they have these like crazy experiences and they have parents who have achieved so much? Like how do you protect them from a pressure to even someday match their parents' success?
Or outdo it.
That second one, I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't. The first one, I'll tell you, there's nature, nurture. Nature plays a lot into it. They come out the way they come out.
Really?
But like, I sort of fucked up when they were younger. There weren't chores, and I don't know. I had 4 kids in 7 years. There were too many of them, and they were at different school. It was just a lot.
Yeah.
So I didn't really do that, but somehow managed to keep them grounded. They are very normal, down-to-earth kids, even with, and the houses that we live in and the places we go. I think it comes down to gratitude.
Yeah.
And even though Terry and I didn't grow up like this with the staff and the houses and the things, we're so grateful. We never take anything for granted. And I think our kids have modeled that. But you know what's interesting about them also is that they're even more sensitive to things.
Okay.
Like, I guess Terry feels he came from nothing. And I know there's rumors on the internet that like his brother left him money like none of that's true. By the way, Terry's mother is still alive, so if he had anything, it would have gone to her.
Right.
But anyway, so no, we've made all of our money and have been very grateful for all of our success. But for him, he feels like he's worked so hard his whole life. He expects things to be a certain way. And I'm not saying he's rude or anything, but like he wants to sit at a certain table at a restaurant. He would expect a certain room if you're paying a certain amount of money at a hotel.
Yeah.
And if it's not a great room, he would ask to switch rooms.
Yeah.
My kids are very much like, no, it's fine.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
it's fine. No, thank you so much.
That's good.
They're really very much like that.
Yeah.
And so I have tried to tell them it's okay to ask for what you
Right.
want as long as you're asking for it in a respectful way.
Especially when you're paying a lot of money. It's not like you're asking for things that you don't didn't pay
Exactly.
for. And
100%.
Okay, I have something kind of controversial to say and probably
Yes.
a little gauche to say.
Say it.
And
I love it when you go gauche.
I'm going off script. I'm going rogue right now. But I feel like the experience of having all these experiences for the first time, right? Being someone who works from a place and gets to a different place. Not that we're anywhere near anything.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's more of our experience, right? We've been able to gain some experiences as adults through our own hard work.
We're a little bit more like, oh wow, this is crazy.
We love
Am
to
I
just-
jaded?
No, I just feel like it's like more fun to be an adult with that experience than to grow up with everything on some level.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Because you're like in awe.
Okay, so, all right, a couple of things. Well, first of all, I have to also point out that my kids, even though they fly private,
Yeah.
or they're in first class, they also fly coach sometimes.
Yeah.
And there's never a complaint.
Yeah.
Never. My son was just in Italy for 6 months and flying around and
Yeah.
who knows what airline in the
Right.
back row by the bathroom. You know what I mean?
Ryanair.
They're fine.
Right.
They're totally fine. So Terry and I grew up a little bit differently. I mean, I grew up going on vacation.
Yeah,
right.
And going on, on the airline. Yes, we were in coach. We were not in first class or
Right,
anything
yeah.
like that, but I felt like I had experiences. I will tell you that when the experiences first started getting upgraded, there was a feeling of maybe pretending like it's normal, faking it a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
And then I think when you get to a certain level, it's just fun to be like, wow,
Right.
this is the coolest thing ever. And also, look, everything's relative. I mean, there's many levels above
Totally.
what we do that I go, wow, I bet that, we flew to France on La Première, which is, there's only 4 seats in first class. It's an insane high life experience.
Air
And then-
France?
Air France.
Yes,
In La
okay.
Première. And then I chartered a plane to take us to Courchevel. And so incredible, right? But like we land, we're on this very nice plane
Yeah.
and there's a Global Express sitting there at a G6 and you're like,
Right.
And look, I'm just happy that I had the experience
Right.
to fly private and get there faster and do all the things. But you look over there and you're like, ooh, that'd be nice.
Right, right.
No, you're right. And I just feel like the kids of like billionaires can sometimes be like the most jaded because they have like to go from the SUV to the G6. Like you need
Like Kim Kardashian's kids. How can they ever be normal?
no
I
fully.
don't think that's possible.
No.
Yeah.
And she seems like a great mom.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
know them. And to no fault of her own, but how does one get raised with every like the beginning of school is a huge thing set up
right.
at their house and Wicked is in their living room and all those things. I don't
Yeah.
know. I would like to know.
We'll have to get them on the pod.
But I'm not
find out.
against it. And what are you supposed to do? Just
Right.
say
Not
no?
have those experiences. It's
Yeah.
an experiment worth trying out. You know,
Yeah,
if you can.
I'm all in to try it.
Yeah, it's like it would be like trying to swim completely upstream to
Yes.
try to like I don't know, to not have that type of life.
But
for
I
your kids
do
if you're
think it's
her.
possible. I swear I do because again, I don't have that. We're not billionaires and we
Right.
don't have a plane like that and all those things. But we have a lot.
Right.
And my kids grew up in a 22,000 square foot home, flying
Right.
beautiful
Right.
planes and going on amazing vacations, doing all the things. But they're totally normal.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is like a nature thing. Like they can kind of just come out good and you don't have to worry
I
as much.
no, I think you still have to be a present, appropriate parent.
Yeah.
And again, through that douchey stage, you can't let them get away
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
with that
Right,
stuff
for
because
sure.
then maybe it does bleed into their older years.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I've seen some of, not all of them, I would say our kids' friends, the older kids' friends, for the most part, are lovely.
Okay.
Really. And they are people with families with more than we have, like
Right.
generational wealth and
yeah.
all these things. And the kids are really nice. But some of them, I see the attitude and the entitlement issues, and I don't like that. But I've also seen kids who were raised with less, who are very entitled
Right,
and douchey.
for sure.
So, I mean, I think it's going to be part nature and part nurture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, switching gears a little
Yes.
bit because we unfortunately don't have the problem of being billionaire parents. So not
One
that-
day, maybe, you never
One
know.
day.
Okay, but I have a question that's quite personal to me and that I feel like you really influenced me listening to your show. Like listening to the way you would talk about taking joy and taking care of Terry was very influential to me because that is something I really love to do with my husband. And I remember hearing you talk about how like you'd like look for opportunities to like take care of him, like put toothbrush on his toothpaste or like little things like that. And I feel like on our podcast, I've shared a little bit of just the ways I am like kind of, can be a little doting and enjoy that. And I feel like sometimes I've gotten in trouble for that.
Oh, yeah, because it's, what did they call it now? A what mom? A
Trad-
what wife?
trad
Trad
wife?
wife? Is that
Yeah.
short for traditional?
I think so, yeah.
trad wife. You're getting trad wife shamed.
Yeah, I'm giving trad wife vibes and I'm not a good enough feminist. And even though like I have my own business and I very much like, you know, I take care of my husband because he takes such good care of me.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Well, first of all, I have to just fix something. I never put toothpaste on his toothbrush. That was my son. Because boys don't brush their teeth at a certain age, and it's disgusting. However, I do things for Terry.
Yeah.
Like I used to pack for him. I don't anymore. I mean, honestly, luckily we have someone that is sort of has filled that particular
Incredible.
role, which I really enjoy. And honestly, I don't care that much. And I just go pack this many nights, whatever, and whatever he has. And if you looked at my Instagram,
I was going to say the two different shoes.
he had 2 different black shoes. I was just happy he had a right and a left.
Oh my gosh. So
That's
funny.
all I care.
Like, how does that happen?
But
I love it.
I do things for him that he loves. I mean, dumb things. Like we have an electric blanket, obsessed. I like it to be snowing in the room and warm in the blanket. And I will go in and I will just turn that thing on for him so that when he gets in the bed, it's all warm and delicious. Silly things like that. But I think what you're talking about is back in the day when we would have the kids and it would be like Christmas Day, we'd go to a buffet.
Yeah.
And I would make a plate for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't mind ever doing that.
I mean, okay, that's actually was a pro tip I gave on our Patreon exclusive. Was
Really?
like a good way to be a little bit catering and nurturing, but not doing a lot of work. Is you don't have to cook the meal, but just plate it.
Yes.
You know, like a good tip, right?
Serve or just set the table
Yeah.
beautifully.
Yeah.
Like it's like a little extra thing just to say, I care about you. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, what is your partner doing for you?
Yes.
Because if it's not reciprocal, then it is trad wife.
Completely. Yes.
And I'm not into
Yeah,
that.
yes,
It's
yeah.
got to be reciprocal.
Right.
But like my job for years, for 21, my last series regular role as an actress was right before I was pregnant with the twins. It was 21 years ago. And so even though I've worked since then in that realm, not as a series regular, so not as a daily thing. So in all the jobs that I've had since, I've never really had to go to work from let's call it like a 9 to 5
yeah.
kind of thing. It's different.
Yeah.
So some days are long and difficult, some days are short, some days are non-existent. But he has kept sort of a more traditional schedule.
Yeah.
And so it's a little easier for me to do certain things for him and realize, all right, he's been up since 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
He's been operating all day. Let me figure this out.
Yeah.
And even like, and this is going to sound very trad wife, although I don't know if trad wives wear makeup, but like I like to get dressed. I never look unkempt.
Yeah.
I don't have gross things with holes in them.
Yeah.
I don't have ugly sweats.
Yeah,
That's not
yeah.
that I don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every time he looks at me, I like to look good, even if it's no makeup.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't look good right now. I should have just worn no makeup. But like, even if your hair is just like pulled up, and you just have like glowy face cream
Yeah.
on, to me that's good.
Yeah, there's a degree of polish that you want to have.
Yeah.
Also, just to go back to what we were talking about, with this, I think it's also like approaching partnership and your lifelong romantic relationship as like, we're both trying to give 110%. It's not this like black and white 50-50. If you're not giving 50%, then I'm not giving 50%. It's like,
Totally.
And I feel like, I mean, you know, you and Terry have been married for so long. It's like, I'm sure that's kept your relationship so good because you're always trying to do little things for him. And, you know, as he is for you, I'm sure.
100%. And when it breaks down, then you have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because that does happen. We've been together 28 years, if you can believe it. And yeah, there have definitely been moments where it's like, I need more.
Yeah.
You're dropping the ball. And there's other moments where you have to give the other person some grace because they're in it. And
Yeah.
I've done it for him. He's done it for me. When things are going on with the kids, you got to do it for each other. It's, you know, marriage is work. But when you find the good one, you hold on to them.
I just have to say, I just love yours and Terry's relationship. I love seeing it as like an audience member also because I think you guys love spending so much time together.
Yeah,
Like
we
you love
do.
going out, even just before we sat down, you're like, and then we got dinner. Like there was like this little gleeful smile on your face. And it's just, I don't know, it's very happy. I love it.
We are very happy. Although I hate to say that out loud because, you know, it's just with the husband or the kids, as soon as you say something
Yeah.
good, everything goes to shit and you're fighting. So
Just kidding.
it seems to be fine
It's working for now.
for the time being.
We're not jinxing anything. Chandler, can I share with you something?
Always.
I truly am loving an early bird in place of a glass of wine at the end of the day. I feel like we're all trying to drink less as a nation, as one world, trying to be healthier.
It's true. We are.
Yeah, like drinking less is really a trend. And although we do want a way to just melt away at the end of the day, just relax a little bit, that's where Early Bird CBD comes in. This magical concoction of 2.5 milligrams THC and 12.5 milligrams CBD, it will just give you the perfect little melty, nice buzz, but it's almost undetectable. It's very mild. It's very relaxed. I recommend even starting with a half if you're uneasy, but it's truly a divine experience.
It's mild, melty perfection. It's one of the number one things I'm recommending to friends constantly. I love Early Bird. Everyone go to earlybirdcbd.com and use our code POP20 at checkout. That's earlybirdcbd.com. Use our code POP20.
Okay, question. Obviously, like Terry works a high pressure job where there's a lot at stake and he can be getting up very early.
Yeah.
And like, were there ever times where the stress of how hard he was working strained the relationship to a point where like you felt disconnected for like a minute, not
Yeah.
just like a few weeks, like maybe a 6 months or something?
Yeah, I mean, I sort of joke about this, but it's true. Like, you know, you have good days and bad days. You have good years and bad years. I think that's true.
Really?
Yeah, that has absolutely happened. It's funny, I even remember last summer we were a little like off and we were in Idaho and my son Nick said, "You guys all right?" And I go, "We're fine." And he goes, "Okay, just you're not being your normal, you know,
Interesting.
thing," because we really are so connected and we were together so
Yeah.
much. And it's not like we were fighting or there was nothing that you would have put your finger on. But there was just something. And he is so in tune with who we are as a couple that he noticed it,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I thought was so interesting. And then I said to Terry, I go, "Nikki just said this to me." And he was like, "All right, well, let's have a talk."
yeah.
So is that kind of how you navigate that situation, is through communication?
Well, you have to. There is
Yeah.
no other way.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are not talking to each other, there is a problem.
Yeah.
We don't go to therapy. Should we have at a few points over 28 years? Maybe. It's funny, Rob Lowe was saying recently that he loves therapy and that he and his wife go, and it's like having a trainer. Like you have a trainer for your
Yeah.
body, you need a trainer for your marriage. And I said to Terry, I go, maybe we should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, is that a thing?
Yeah.
And then I got nervous because I thought, well, is it going to open up like a can of worms? Is this a
Right.
Yeah.
bad plan? Like, so far,
Yeah.
I feel like we're doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what we did was, I go, well, maybe we need to sit down and have our own therapy session and just like sit down, talk about whatever we need to talk about,
Yeah.
and just leave it at the door.
Yeah.
And we did that.
And that was helpful.
yeah, it was great.
Yeah, and I think couples therapy can be a situation where it's like we can reach for it if we need it. If we don't,
Right.
it doesn't need to be like I don't see couples therapy. Hopefully for myself as something that is a weekly, even a monthly thing. It's like if you're going through a tough patch, talk to a professional. If
Yeah.
not, sometimes I do think it can be like, I don't need to think this week about what my partner did wrong. I almost like, you don't need to like go back.
Right,
in
on a
that way.
weekly basis. Like you have
Yes.
nothing to say this week, so
Exactly.
yeah, let's pick at something.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what
That's what I avoid.
that is what would sort of worry me about. But I'm all for it. I mean, I'm for therapy.
Yeah.
I think it's great. A few of my kids have used therapy.
Yeah.
I think it's such a smart thing to do. And like we're saying, we have trainers for our bodies, trainers for our brains is like a great idea.
Yeah.
A quick fun question, just to lighten things. Question about
You guys are so cute.
really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, thank you. We're
And
sisters,
gorgeous.
by the way.
Oh,
yes, I realize you're sisters.
So I'm curious about the
Who's
new house.
older?
I'm older.
Okay.
Yeah.
How far apart are you?
5 years.
5 years.
So
Yeah.
So we'd be remiss if we did not ask about the new house.
Yeah.
And what the vibe is going to be. Is there going to be a YouTube series? Is there going to be a champagne wall? Is there going to be a wrapping room? Stained glass?
Okay, well here's
What can you share?
I'm gonna give you the scoop. Yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So here's the scoop. So I bought this house in Beverly Hills. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's 8.3 acres. It's like Canyon City Ocean. It's like nothing you've ever seen before. It's insane.
I'm already dead.
The plans are not to knock the house down,
Okay.
but to do what they call a 50% remodel.
Yeah.
There's a lot of boring details to all this, but what I'll tell you is it's sort of modern farmhouse, and it's really cool, and it's like nothing I've ever designed before, and it's amazing. Here's the problem. I love living in our apartment.
You do.
Really? Okay.
So much. So I don't know if you remember this, but we bought this penthouse.
Yes.
And then 10 days into escrow of buying the penthouse, that's when Josh Altman called us and said someone wanted to see our house in Newport. And we were like, okay, whatever. And then ended up selling the house and moving out in 3 weeks. Would I have bought the penthouse that's only 2 bedrooms if I knew we were selling the house? I don't know. But
Yeah.
I'm glad because I love it. So we have this thing. So we bought this house in Beverly Hills
Yeah.
and we threw stage furniture in and we moved in.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and we lived in there for a year.
Oh, you did?
And then we were ready to kind of, they showed it on the show last year.
Okay.
And then we were ready to start.
Yeah.
And the person we were working with, the budget was not the budget we had agreed on.
Okay.
So in the meantime, we had moved out, and in the building where we own this apartment, we rented a second apartment with more bedrooms.
Okay.
Like for the kids?
I would
Or-
love to tell you that we live upstairs and they live downstairs, but no. We actually have a bedroom in both places,
Okay, yeah.
but we don't sleep upstairs.
Yeah.
It's so dumb what we do. If you think of it as an upstairs and downstairs to a house, I literally sleep in the downstairs apartment, the one we're renting, with the kids and Terry.
Yeah.
And then I go to Pilates, and then when I come home, I go upstairs because that's where I shower. I've never
Yeah.
even showered downstairs.
So
I
funny.
shower. I have my clothes are up there.
Yeah.
My office is up there. It's like upstairs
love
and
it.
downstairs in the
Yes.
house. So that's what we've been doing. I love it so much. I love living in a building. I love that there's 10 people downstairs. Our doorman, they're all so nice.
yeah.
I know everyone's name and their birthdays and their thing.
It's very New Yorky.
It's very New York. The
Yes.
view is stunning.
Yeah.
And it's great. And I kind of never want to see a blade of grass again. So now, then I thought, okay, well, it's going to take 3 years to build. Kat's going to college next year. Ace, by the time we move in, Ace will be a junior in high school. And then, do I want a house that, I don't know. I'm having second thoughts.
Interesting. Okay, that's a
Wow.
huge exclusive.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
I've
thank
not
you.
told
I'm
anyone.
Oh my
honored.
gosh, we are extremely honored.
So we are weighing our options
Yeah.
currently.
I love being in a building. I love a view.
So good.
It's just nice. I mean, I say that as someone who's never had anything else. I've never had a home, but I can imagine that
Did you
a
grow up in the
freestanding
city?
home. No. I mean, me and my husband have never had our own home. We've always lived in a building. But I just imagine it's everything is so much work probably.
See, this is the thing. I don't want to sound ungrateful about this, but here's the deal. A house is like running a hotel. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if you have a VRBO, an Airbnb, or, a hotel size house. Whatever it is, there is maintenance.
Yes, always.
So always. And the bigger the edifice, the more maintenance. And so my kids and my husband loved our last house.
Yeah.
It was 22,000 square feet. But here's the thing. I was very protective of my husband's time because he is talking to people all day long,
Yeah.
right? He's seeing patients and all this thing. So I didn't want him to have people around when he came home.
Yeah.
So by the time he came home, everyone's gone, except we have a chef, but
Yeah.
except for the chef, everyone's gone.
Yeah.
So there's no people walking around the house. But while I'm there all day,
Right.
there's people everywhere. So
Yeah.
and I'm the house manager,
Yeah.
right? So I'm dealing with all the problems. And then when the kids or Terry saw anything wrong or had a problem, all I heard was the complaints all day. So it was a lot, especially during the pandemic, being at home. Fabulous place to be quarantined,
Yeah. Right.
no doubt. And love the home, so grateful for it. But at some point, I just felt like it was a job I didn't want anymore.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm loving Heather Dubrow and her penthouse era.
I
That might be
know.
continuing.
It's so sexy. It's so great. And this is where I want to end up when, Ace leaves with just us. What we're figuring out now is we still will need some place to house the family, right? To go for the holidays,
Yeah.
for Thanksgiving, to leave their stuff or whatever it is. And that's what we're talking about now. Where is
Yeah.
that place? Is it in Newport Beach?
Yeah.
Which
Right.
I tried to buy a couple of houses, but I didn't a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
right when we sold the other house and didn't get them.
Yeah.
And I tried to buy one last summer, like maybe a little beach house or a little something.
Yeah.
Or maybe the desert. So
Right.
that's what we're talking about
I
right
also
now.
just feel like for your and Terry's lifestyle, which is like probably going out to dinner all the time,
Yeah.
and you're in and out, like to have even a 20-minute drive to some house that has like this incredible view or however long the drive is, it's just a little bit less convenient.
Yeah, absolutely. And so being through all these stages, with 4 kids and, our oldest just turned 21, we've done the whole
Right.
little kids, baby, and going to all the kid events all the time and
Yeah.
the games and the things and eating at home every night
Right.
and having dinner with the kids, which lasts 35 minutes. And we're ready for, Terry would be an empty nester now.
Oh my gosh, incredible. Okay, so another question that everyone is going to be upset with us if we don't ask.
Yeah. We'd be remiss.
Ask them all.
What are the secrets to looking as gorgeous as you do?
So bad.
No, like so
Heather,
stunning, so much access to anyone you want, but continuing to look like yourself, like not going down the path that we see other people go down where they kind of look otherwise.
Yes.
Please share any beauty secrets.
I'll share them all.
Okay.
First of all, the enemy of good is better.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I live by that.
Love it.
There's a bump in my nose. I was telling them before, the cameras used to be set up this way, and now they're this way. And so I always take pictures this way because to my right.
Yes.
Because then there's no bump. And if I take them to the left, and it's small, but it's there and it bothers me. But the rest of my nose, I like. And so I don't want to do something. And can you imagine if I had them go in there and fix that and something went wrong? I'm not going to fall into that trap.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm married to a plastic surgeon. I have real breasts. I did think about it once. I'm allergic to everything, though. And I think that if silicone went in my body, they would just jump out. I just think it would like the movie Alien. It would just like pop out of my body and be a disaster. I'm really into sort of the non-surgical solutions to anti-aging. The only thing I've ever done is I had a really bad umbilical hernia after having all the kids. So Terry, he's a general surgeon too, so he fixed that and cleaned up the whole C-sections and that
Yeah.
situation. But I didn't have my muscles put back together, which is like sort of a classic tummy tuck kind of thing. I do have a new belly button because of the umbilical hernia. Because
Yeah.
it looked like, if you don't know what that is, it looks like a really gross outie.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting. Okay.
And I was going to wait. And then one day Terry goes, just so you know, if you end up with pain, you're going to be taken to the ER and I can't do anything about it. And they're going to cut you vertically. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, why don't we fix that? So that's what I've done. Other than that, I try to do everything non-surgical. So I like Botox. I don't like filler, but I like Sculptra.
You do like Sculptra.
Sculptra's
Okay.
magic.
Okay.
Magic. So if you don't know what it is, it's like injecting fertilizer in and it regrows your own collagen. It was created for AIDS patients. So I get it in my temples.
Okay.
Thankfully, I have good cheekbones. I don't do that. But I get it in the hollow, under the cheekbone, and a little in the back
Okay.
of the jaw to try to pull it. So that's what I do.
Okay.
I also like lasers.
You do.
I do. I did the mixed dose fractionated CO2 a couple years ago. I don't know. I don't know how much that did for me, but I think my skin quality is good. I think it's more for resurfacing. I tried the Morpheus 8 and Thermage.
Yeah.
Didn't love those.
Didn't, okay.
No, I thought those were meh. Jamie Greenberg's a friend of mine. Do you know who she is? You should get her on the show. She's a celebrity makeup artist and she's hilarious. She turned me on to this thing called Soft Wave, which is just like Morpheus and the other ones. It's the newer one,
Okay.
and I think that one's great. I've
Okay,
done it
soft
twice,
interesting.
and I really like it.
Okay.
The soft wave. What else do I do? Oh, I get Doug Mest. Terry doesn't do injectables. People always ask me if he does my Botox and stuff. He doesn't. I go to Doug Mest. He's in Hermosa Beach. He's a magician. He's fabulous. And he makes sure that people don't look overdone.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I don't like that when, these big lips. And although I did think about doing my lips recently.
Well, okay. So, okay.
I've never done that.
I feel like it's such a statement to
Yeah.
not have lip filler.
Right.
And it's so chic. Like Gwyneth doesn't have lip filler.
See, I like my lips. I like my
You have
lip
beautiful lip shape.
But when I smile like Gwyneth, they go away.
Yeah. Well.
So I did think about it, but I haven't done that. What else do I do? And I have a great facial gal, which I go to like every 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
Candice Miel, she's great.
Okay.
I go to Dr. Ellie, who's this Korean goddess who does the salmon sperm facial and also like acupuncture and cupping and all these crazy. It's the best treatment ever. And what else do I do? I think that's it.
Okay. And how has sorry, I'm now just getting all the information I can. We're short on time. How has I remember you and Terry were big on intermittent fasting back in the day. Are we still doing that?
Yeah.
Like, how is everyone
Yeah.
feeling their best for 2025?
I've just been intermittent fasting for so many years. It's just part of my world. I eat breakfast and lunch when we travel for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because I enjoy food
Yeah.
and whatever, but it really slows me down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not as productive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I was at a party last night and someone was saying to me, she was like, how do you stay thin? I'm like, if you look at my body for the last 20 years, intermittent fasting completely changed me.
Really? So there was, I feel like you've always just been,
Yeah, like
always
very
looked
fit.
amazing. So,
I appreciate that. I think that intermittent fasting, and then I used to do a lot of HIIT training,
okay.
and I don't do that anymore.
You
Okay.
don't. We're done
What
with
are we
Orange
doing?
Theory.
We're done. I think, yes, we're done. Not that I don't love it, but
Yeah.
I believe that there's ages and stages for how you eat, what you take as far as supplements and meds
Yeah,
in general,
yeah.
and how you exercise.
Yeah.
And it's really important, especially, I would say like at 40 to get a great anti-aging doctor and do little things,
Yeah.
to keep yourself looking good and feeling good.
Okay, what are those little
Like,
things?
I would talk about like metformin.
Okay.
I got turned
Yeah.
on to metformin a number of years ago, which is a diabetic
Yeah.
drug historically,
Yeah.
but it's got such big anti-cancer properties to it and weight loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Interesting.
feel like that's been really good for me
Yeah.
in the menopausal years
Yeah.
to keep my weight down. So that was a game changer
Yeah.
for me too. But as far as exercise goes, I would, and things like, fish oil,
Yeah.
there's just like, so
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor, so I wouldn't pretend to know what's right for everyone, but you need to be on top
Yeah.
of that kind of thing, get your hormones checked when you're younger.
Yeah.
Because what happens is we get into our mid 30s to mid 40s and we're like, I'm tired and I'm stressed and I hate my husband and I whatever. And you think it's because of
Yeah.
the kids or the
Yeah.
job or the stress, but it's not. It's your hormones and no one tells us this. So you need to get that stuff checked. You have to stay ahead of all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then for exercise, I feel like the no pain, no gain thing only goes so far. And then you have to segue into what is really going to take your body into strength and fitness
Yeah.
into your later years. So for me, I had like a massive, aha moment. And I went, okay, this is too hard on my joints. This is too hard on my body.
With
I
the
don't-
HIIT.
With the HIIT training. And I don't want to do that anymore. So my assistant, so cute, and turned me on to Forma Pilates, which is like, so LA, you have to be invited.
You do.
Yeah, you have to be recommended, invited,
It's
accepted.
like
the whole-
Raya.
Oh, exactly. And so I went to the class and I fell in love. And especially for my body type, I think, but just in general, this idea of strength and core strength is so insane. And it's just a long, lean look
Yeah.
that I love. And they also have this hot mat class that's ridiculous. I love it. I try to go every day.
I feel like another key must be just finding also something that you really enjoy. 'Cause
Yes.
like it sounded like the Orange Theory or the HIT training just started to feel like not as good, and you didn't look forward to it anymore as much.
It didn't, but I also like when you look at people in these classes, not every class.
Right.
But some, because I also did other classes,
Yeah.
not just Orange Theory, but when you look at people in some of these classes and they have a knee brace on
Yeah.
and an elbow thing, and I'm going, did you get that here?
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Totally.
No, that's good advice.
Wow. I need to write down every single thing and
Thankfully,
schedule some appointments when I get home.
Thankfully, it's all recorded.
Yes.
Okay, I know you have a very important meeting that you need to get to.
I do, but if you have any quick round robin I can give quick
Okay.
answers for, I'm happy to.
I mean,
Okay.
I just have to know.
Okay.
What went through your brain when Tamra is peeing on the backyard concrete?
I was horrified and not surprised.
For me, it was the worst moment of the season. Like unnecessary.
Unnecessary.
Not
Completely.
good TV. Not needed.
Like hard to watch TV.
yeah.
I just don't like the mean games.
Yeah.
I can't stand
Yeah.
it. I can't stand it. I think we can play fun games and
Mm-hmm.
still have amusing times and conversations.
Right. Absolutely.
Like I wouldn't play that game with my other friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I always think about like with these shows, I would so much rather hear these women talk about their life lessons and the wisdom that they can share that's unique to them rather than like going round robin about what they don't like about each other.
Well, here's the thing. We talk about that stuff too.
That's true.
So I have to say, I've had incredible conversations with Tamra,
Yeah.
with Emily, with Gina,
Yeah.
with Shannon.
Yeah.
And they don't always get shown.
Yeah.
Yeah. What gets shown is like the blowjobs conversation or the
Right,
the
but you
more-
guys should
yeah.
all, make comments
Yeah.
about
Okay, yeah.
these things because I feel like they listen to the fans.
Yeah.
of the
Interesting.
show.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So, I mean, obviously those conversations are happening. They're being filmed, but sometimes they end up on the cutting room floor.
I think it's for every 30 hours. I hope I'm saying this right, but I think for every 30 hours we film 20 minutes makes it to the air.
Wow.
Oh, that must be so frustrating.
Yeah.
Okay, any other big ones or anything else we need to get
Do you miss acting? Someone wants to know.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I auditioned for the Groundlings.
Okay.
And got in and did a class. And so I'm going to do the next. So I'm moving up to intermediate
Yeah.
now, but the schedule hasn't aligned yet.
Okay.
So I'm waiting to do that.
I'm so excited.
that's so fun.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And I went with my girlfriend Dina Waters, who's the best, also an actress. And actually, I was sitting with Zoe Deschanel the other night
Yeah.
at a party, name dropping, sorry. and I am obsessed with her.
She's beautiful.
And the loveliest girl.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're working on this little class. We're putting together this class that we were both talking about wanting to do. So I feel like it's coming down the
Yeah.
pike. But one of the great things to know about when you get a little bit older, when you're in your 20s, I remember thinking to myself at 27, oh my God, if X doesn't happen by the time I'm 30, it'll never happen. My life will be over. I'll have to think of a new career. And I said the same thing for 35, for 40. I'm going to tell you something. Throw away the clock and the timeline. It doesn't matter. And now, especially like when I turned 50, I was like, all bets are off. Who cares? I
Yeah.
have nothing to lose. I'm just going to put it all out there, see what happens, go for it all. And who cares? It happens now, 6 months from now, a year from now. It'll, things happen when the timing is right.
Yeah.
I think that's so inspiring because I think that so often, especially as we get older, we're like, oh, I can't start dance classes. That's
Yeah.
for 4-year-olds.
Oh,
you
no.
know?
Listen, I'm starting a tap class with a few of my
Oh my
friends right
gosh.
now.
So cool.
Yeah.
I just feel like you're such a vibrant person and have such a zest for life. And I think that's a huge part of it, obviously. It's like not being afraid to embark on new things at any moment.
It's the same thing we tell our kids, right? You try everything.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
not? And last take home, definitely, it's your day-to-day life. If you are not enjoying your day-to-day life, you got to make tweaks.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is. You find that workout thing
Yeah.
that's the first thing in the morning that lifts your, serotonin levels and makes you happy and gives you a good bump. Or even finding friends at those classes
Yeah.
that just, you talk to and elevates your day. You got to find
Yeah.
those things.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's incredible. I mean, can I just say to our listeners, people are gonna be like, you gassed her up too much, but honestly, Heather, like Heather Dubrow, better in person.
Better in person.
Oh, you're so
I'm
nice.
dying.
For real.
Okay, will you guys please come on my
We
show?
would
We would
love
nothing
to.
more.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let's do it.
I'm feeling very inspired. 2025. Let's do it.
Let's do
do
it.
it.
Thank
Bring
you so much for being here, everyone. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
listening. And we'll be back next week. Bye.
Bye.